With YouTube attacking alternative media, please consider supporting the channel via Patreon for just $1 per month. Link below. Pornography. It's a thing. It's not a bad thing, actually. I think it's quite a good thing. I think pornography is a key reason why there is a big push for people to want to legalize, regulate, and tax prostitution. Because if you just for kind of roll with me on this train of thought. If, let's say, for example, Lexi Bell or Mia Malkova or Stoya decided to get into the legal prostitution game, you could then go out to not even Las Vegas, but you could go to California, go to a bunny ranch out there, and then have your way with the porn star for a price, right? You could live fantasy in reality. I'm all on board with that one. I think it's also a good revenue for the states, but in Florida, because it's always Florida. They have now declared porn a public health risk. Why? For the excess amounts of salt content that emanates from semen? I got no idea. How could porn be a public health risk unless you're talking about all of the moist flushable wipes that end up clogging toilets from being used as wet nap jizz rags? I mean, come on. How is this going to be a bad thing? All right, so it says here, Florida lawmakers on Tuesday declared pornography a health risk and called for more research on its effects. What research is that? That from anywhere between 2 to 5 minutes, you're feeling pretty good, right? You pop on a porn, you do your thing, and you have your release, and then at the end of it, you're just like, man, I feel all right. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm gonna go about my day, do my thing, right? I mean, ultimately, that's the effects. Now, that's my joke, but they're talking about kind of the concept of what are the mental effects of watching so much pornography? Doesn't make you a sexual deviant, doesn't make you a rapist, those kind of things. I think that's more or less what they're trying to refer to. Now, the House of Representatives approved the resolution, which states that there needs to be more education, research, and policy changes to protect Florida residents from porn. I'm just going to say, when you try to restrict porn in this particular manner, it never goes the way that you want. We've seen some stuff in the last couple of years hinting at a very dystopian future in regards to the Orwellian lockdown on pornography. It's really not that big of a deal. All right. It's really not that big of a deal. If people enter into it when they're of age and they give their consent to be nailed and railed on camera, then that is their American right to do so, or just, freedom from whatever country it's allowed in. And if somebody then wants to watch whatever's been uploaded to the internet or pay a premium, and then fire off some five-fingered knuckle children to it, then again, that is their prerogative and their freedom to do as well. A lot of busters are out there. People with built up sexual tension need to find that release, can't quite do it with their partner, so they resort to porn. Its effects really aren't as bad as you want it to be. Now, research has found correlation between pornography use and mental and physical illness, difficulty forming and maintaining intimate relationships, unhealthy brain development and cognitive function, and deviant, problematic, or dangerous sexual behavior. This coming from Republican Representative Ross Spano, that he said at the state's House and Human Services Committee. Really? So, what is this? What is this research? Something you might find from, let's say, the evangelical wing of some church somewhere? Or some kind of, pro-life organization that wants to try to teach you about the evils of pornography. I just invite you to go and check out Pornhub.com for a few minutes to find out whether or not it's for you. If at any point in time when perusing the front page of the site, your junk decides to go twing, wing, 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 you have a winner. And feel free to give in to your delicious sin. Just let it out. Preferably in a moist towelette. It's a lot easier to clean up on. Anyway, the point is, come on, man. Come on. Trying to say that there's a correlation between porn and mental and physical illnesses, difficulty forming and maintaining intimate relationships, unhealthy brain development, and cognitive function. Couldn't those same things be argued for video games or watching movies or social media, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook? I mean, all things considered, if we're talking about the effects of an addiction here, then that can be applied to a multitude of different things. But pornography is just an easy target, right? That's all it boils down to. And I understand they probably watched a lot of porn and they saw the stories of where the pizza delivery guy comes over and the girl's like, I don't have enough money to pay you. How can I totally give you this? Well, I could give you a piece of my salami, whatever like this. No one's that easy in real life. Well, no, that's not true. Some people really are. some weird stories I have from my childhood. The point is, it's stupid. Democratic Representative Carlos Guillermo Smith criticized Tuesday vote, saying that there are more important issues such as gun control that should be looked at by the House, which is true. The events of Parkland, Florida are tragic. They're horrible. It's a massacre of 17 students and faculty members at that high school. And, talking about gun control is an issue that probably does need to be looked at. Whether or not a solution can be found, the discussion needs to still happen. And to, focus more on making sure that porn is a public health risk in Florida, when I do believe Zika has been a thing, is clearly a problem. So there is definitely that. So 17 people in Parkland were just murdered with an AR-15, plus the Florida House just passed Ross Spano's H.R. 157 declaring porn a public health risk. The rep tweeted, no gun violence is a public health risk, plus Spano blocked HB 219 banning assault weapons in his committee for 2 years. So I'm pretty certain if we were to look at Ross Spano's donators, we would find that probably the NRA or some other organization that was pro-gun or pro-Second Amendment are funding him. And the thing is, I'm not against people being pro-Second Amendment or the NRA. I'm not. But if those kind of organizations are lobbying to him in order to look after their particular interests, it just further exemplifies the fact that we need to get rid of money in politics. We need to get rid of that crap. Now, the House voted down a rejected ban on large-capacity magazines and weapons such as AR-15, which were used by the alleged Florida high school shooter, Nicholas Cruz. A similar resolution is in the state Senate and has yet to be heard in a committee. So hopefully they'll focus on more important things, like probably the fact that, Florida is the laughingstock of the United States, probably because it's also America's penis, and the fact that porn is not a public health risk. I don't know if Ross Spano is a religious person. I don't know if this dude is an evangelical. I don't know what this guy is. I don't really care, to be honest with you. But, we've had pornography for a long time. Okay. Pornography hasn't just spawned up in the last 20 years of the birth of the internet. I knew I was getting my hands on Playboys as early as the age of 5 because we found them underneath a bush next to my friend's apartment complex. Right? Not only that, but it was the 80s, so everyone had bush. It was a magical time for pubic hair. But the point is, people have been looking at pornography their entire life. Humans are, our core desire, our core programming is to eat, sleep, and procreate, which means that we are going to go through points in our life where we, puberty, we're going to go through the adolescent age of wanting to get down and bone everything in sight. And that doesn't always ever go away. And so having pornography is a nice deterrent from going out and, seeking your desires elsewhere. And since prostitution is not legal in this country, as it should be, people look to get it in other ways. So to sit there and try to say that if you whack off to porn, you are participating in a public health risk. I mean, come on. It's pornography, not the purge. All right. It's not that big of a deal, but these Republicans, these conservatives, always try to make it a bigger deal than it is. And that's sad and it's terrible and it's crappy and it needs to stop. Because honestly, what these guys need is just go home, turn on Pornhub and whack off and they'll feel a lot better.